up, everybody? I am in San Diego, Pacific Beach. I'll go this way. The sun just came out, which is nice. There's not a lot of action here. I'll give you a look. It's a recall Gavin Newsom / Trump merchandise type situation. Not a lot has happened. One guy was taken away in handcuffs, I think, for heckling and so forth. Oh, this is the guy I was going to interview. Let's go chat with him. Are you calling it? Are you going?
I'll probably come back a little bit later on.
Yeah. What happened? There was a guy that was taken away in handcuffs?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Mm-hmm. Just down that way.
Someone's always up to no good.
Have you been to a lot of these?
No, I came here last Saturday, so I thought I'd join it this Saturday.
And has there been a lot of conflict here when it comes to like the?
Doesn't seem like it. There are a few instigators, a few ankle biters, but you can always expect that. People are very emotional.
Could I interview you on camera a bit?
Sure, if you want.
Cool. I'm gonna sit on this side of me. So,
I don't like the camera in my face.
Oh, okay.
Are we gonna look at it together or what?
Oh no, if you don't want the camera, I'll just keep the camera on this.
Yeah, we can do that.
You can comment.
Yeah.
Tell me like a little bit about the attitude of the protest and why you're out here.
I don't think it's a protest. I think they're just getting signings for paperwork. They already got 1.5 million, so it doesn't really matter. I think they're just hyping it up a little bit.
Or to recall the government.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were out here with a flag earlier.
Yeah.
Did you have any takers as far as?
Yeah, I got a few. People tend to like me. I got good vibes. I can always convince people to do some things, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need a little motivation. People want to step out of the turd, right? They just want that motivation. Plus, the American flag and Trump and patriotism has a little white supremacist racism to them. When you got a face like this and a beard like this, it kind of cancels out that type of vibe. You can't really call this thing a white supremacist, right? There was one lady, though, that walked by. She had a mask on. She was a white lady. She said, I know brown people like Trump. Kind of a strange comment to make, but, that's the mindset of certain liberals and certain progressives. They think that only white supremacists like Trump and everyone else must not. Typical racism, but what can you do, right? What can you do in this country of division and chaos? How about you? Are you an outside bias? I see you got the get covered, stay covered. Is that a city government thing? Or?
They sent me this in the mail. It's through my health insurance. I have Obamacare health insurance.
They make you wear two now. The CDC promotes you have to wear two to be really safe.
Really?
Yeah. I wonder how much more they'll push. Maybe 3 or 4 until people get it. Oh wait, it might not be real.
Do they say that outside or inside?
Outside and inside your house. Inside a house that it's not your house. Official CDC website. So it makes you think, are the CDC stupid this time around? Were they stupid the first time around too, right?
Well, for everything that I've read, the outdoor, that's why I don't even have my mask on when I'm outdoors. I mean, if we're standing really close to each other, like we were a second ago, I put the mask on. But, when it comes to outdoor transmission, do you know why this is an interesting point that a lot of people don't know, but the day that the Department of Homeland Security came out to tell people that outdoor transmission was not a danger.
Homeland Security or CDC?
It was the Department of Homeland Security. And they came out during a press conference to say that outdoor transmission, that the half-life of the virus is cut down significantly when you're out on a beautiful sunny day like today. There's just no evidence of outdoor transmission. But do you know what dominated the headlines of that press conference? This would have been either the end of April or early May. What dominated the headlines was Trump riffing on injecting light or something like that. And so the real information from that press conference that could have completely changed how people approached certainly outdoor activities, it was completely buried. It didn't even make the press because everybody was fixated on this stupid comment about injecting light.
Not so much stupid. UV ray light is an old ancient technology. They used to use it about 50, 60, 70 years ago.
But
It
he,
is possible to
but
kill
I'm,
people through it.
but I'm saying he was talking about injecting light when you had a real bit of information which needed to be communicated to the American people, which is that outdoor transmission is not a danger because of the half-life of the virus being cut down by UV rays, exactly as you're saying. It's just it wasn't communicated well.
Who was the one doing the communication? Who promotes
Donald
ideas?
Trump.
Are you sure? Donald Trump makes statements. Who's the one that promotes information?
Well, it was the
videos?
Department of Homeland Security.
Why are they involved with transmission of aerial assaults? Shouldn't that be a CDC thing?
You know, I don't keep track of government bureaucracy. All I know is that there was important information to be communicated that day, and the press got none of it because they were so.
Share the information.
Absolutely, the
so
press.
It's their responsibility to choose which one they promote. So
I-
they chose to promote Trump, so it's technically them, right?
I agree. I'm not gonna dispute that. I think everybody's hands are dirty when it comes to not playing politics and just looking out for getting the right information out to the American people and not trying to divide them. I mean, I think everybody's hands are dirty in that
I think
respect.
if people wanted the truth, they would find it at this point. They already know it's bullshit. They made human beings afraid of oxygen. That shows how stupid the human race has become. And it's a very good experiment to show you how far the American spirit has fallen. And now that we've seen how far we've fallen, I think we'll probably reverse and come back to a rational sanity. You know, the pendulum must swing the other way, right?
Well, you know, I agree. I don't think that, look, I use my mask in a measured way. If I'm close to somebody, I do it out of respect, out of, you know.
Out of respect, you said. That's a pretty interesting concept. A lot of people do that, but why? Why should we wear a mask out of respect?
Well,
That's
because
what slaves used to wear, right?
Right, but because, you know, take the ideology out of it. That person might live with their grandmother. You don't know. So it's not just out of respect. It's also out of, look, I've traveled the country. I've been in, over the last 8 months, I've been at protests in over 15 different cities. So someone my age, I don't think I'm, especially being outdoors most of the time, you know, I'm not going out. I'm not.
Do you personally truly believe that a mask is going to protect you against this biological weapon that shut down the entire world? Is there a truth to that concept?
That it reduces the spread, sure. Especially indoors.
Is it because you believe it, or we were told that it reduces spread?
Well, you know, what's interesting is that conventional wisdom. My dad's actually a doctor, and in the spring we had a debate because in the medical community, the conventional wisdom was you don't need to wear a mask, and that you should save the masks for, you know, the PPE for the people who need it, and that it should be worn in a hospital. That was the conventional wisdom, and I think even Dr. Fauci repeated that. Then they amended it. Now they amended it to, you know, see if I suppose.
So do you think the American population in the world is going through a test subject to see how much gullibility can be pushed down their throats? 1 mask, 2 masks, 6 feet, stay away from each other. Don't see your old people, but go to your sports and go to your bars. You think it's a test more to see the compliance level of a population than it is about a coronavirus?
I don't, because I err on the side of people being incompetent over conspiratorial.
You haven't seen real evil then, have you?
I've seen some real evil this last 8 months, trust me. But what I do err on is incompetence over conspiracy, and that's just how I view it.
How far do you think incompetence goes? At a point, it becomes evil and maniacal, right? You can only push incompetence for so long.
Habitual, I would almost say. I think that there's a habitual kind of strain in this country right now to stay at each other's throats, to fight, to weaponize information, and keep at it, you know, keep at each other's throats and so forth. Why is this? What's this guy's deal?
He likes to instigate people, it seems like.
Oh, really?
For no reason whatsoever.
But he's not with any group?
No, technically he's with them, I guess, but you know, people just join, people just do what they gotta do.
Yeah, I heard him earlier just saying random things.
There'll always be one amongst the group, right?
At least. Let's see.
Well, I'll leave you to it. I'm
Hey,
gonna head out for the night. It was nice
thanks so
chatting
much for
with you.
chatting with me. I appreciate
Enjoy
it.
your afternoon.
All right, take it easy, man. So that guy was, he wears a sign that says, I want you to have an amazing day. His sign said, I want you to have an amazing day. And he's all about positive vibes. It's a varied crowd here on Pacific Beach. As I said, not much of a showing. There was one guy that they put handcuffs on earlier. I got some video of that. There is a group on Twitter that announced that they were going to come down here. And this guy is weird. He just keeps saying you're a Nazi. He keeps saying you're a Nazi racist. He has a weird vibe, this one right here. What's up, man? So yeah, that guy that I just interviewed, he was out there earlier with the American flag saying to people, hey, you want to hold the American flag? As I said, there's more cops, really. They're all on the periphery, but there's just as many cops as quote-unquote protesters here. Oh, so that guy that was instigating, he's got the American flag now. One remark when I had that conversation with Brett Weinstein right after the Capitol, one remark that he said that's kind of stuck is that this group is terrible at sort of monitoring itself or you know, sort of the general feeling of libertarianism is, you know, everyone can sort of just come and say what they want. But as a result, you get a dude like this one here he's just talking shit to people, really. Look, now she's coming up and they're getting into a little fight now. He just called those Asians a gook, according to. What you want to do? Let's go. So this guy here, they're trying to deal with this guy. The guy with the what? They're pissed. So as I was saying, like, I don't know what this dude's thing is, but the guy with a long ponytail. So they're still pissed. So yeah, the dude with a long ponytail there is basically just starting shit. The guy with the Phillies beanie and the lowrider shorts. Police are trying to keep him away from. He used some. It's weird because it's people of color on people of color kind of racism. But that guy's just saying whatever to anybody. There's something off. But as I was saying before we just saw that, when I had that conversation with Brett Weinstein, he said this group is terrible at sort of policing itself, and they're trying. The guy with the American flag gator there and is trying to like deal with him. This guy here with the white mask, like they've been trying to deal with him. Let's ask him what the deal is. Hey, dude, do you mind if I ask what the hell's going on with that guy and the disturbances right now?
Oh, I honestly don't know too much, but from what I can understand, the group of dudes that were yelling at I don't know his name.
The guy with the Phillies.
Yeah, they were instigating him, and then
they were instigating him.
Yeah, so they had come by earlier before you had gotten here, and they were yelling at him and calling him slurs and stuff, and then so they came back and tried to start stuff. And what we've just been trying to do is keep him.
But he's been just heckling anybody. I've been
he's
just been yelling stuff at
so we've been trying to keep him away from that stuff because I've talked to the police and I said, hey, I'm gonna try to keep him under control and trying to, because I'm not trying to, I don't want to instigate anything, you know. That's not why I'm here. I'm just here to, get people to sign stuff, but I gotta go home and.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, people have been coming by instigating stuff, and he's just tired of it. And he's one of those people who just doesn't care. So
there was a guy that was.
I don't know exactly who he is.
There was a guy that was handcuffed over there. He had a camera, like a DSLR around his neck.
I have no idea. Okay. There were some Antifa people that came by. They run one of the local Twitter accounts.
This SD account?
The SD Against Fascist account, and what they were doing was they had been on Twitter and they say, hey, we're going to go recon this protest and take pictures and put their faces in a database. So they've been coming by and trying to instigate stuff. And
what was the most of them that have showed up so far?
It was just the two that ran the account that I believe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's the Union Tribune guys. I think that's who they're with.
But the two people, you're talking about the two people, they were over there in the corner. And then
those guys, the group of dudes with their, I think it was his sister or his girlfriend, I don't know. Right. We don't know who they're with. It's just like, they were just instigating stuff, and they were trying to instigate him because they knew they could get to him, and we were just trying to hold him back.
Right.
Because,
but I did see two people over by the bathrooms. Are those bathrooms over there?
Yeah, those are bathrooms.
And they were taking pictures of you guys, and then they moved over here.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really interested in that. I was just trying to get people to sign petitions.
But no big groups have shown up so far?
No big groups, and hopefully not, because that's not what we're here. We don't want, to cause. We don't want another like what happened 3 or 4 weeks ago. We don't want that.
What happened 3 or 4 weeks ago? I wasn't here. I was in LA.
I don't know the whole story because I wasn't there. But from what I understand, is Antifa showed up as counter protesters, and they set some things off, and then it scared the community, and we don't want that. That's not the reason we're here. We're just here to, there's some business. There's the two businesses over there. One of the local newspapers, and then there's the people trying to do the recall Gavin Newsom thing. And then there's some people who are trying to have a Trump rally here, I think later, but we don't. That's not the main goal of this. It's just the recall Gavin Newsom.
This is a recall.
Yeah, it's just to get signatures, and we're not interested in starting a whole. We don't want to be Portland we don't want to be the Portland of California. We're the Berkeley of San Diego. So it's just it's just a mix of different groups. But yeah, we're just trying to keep our guys contained so that. We don't have another Pacific Beach incident.
Cool.
And I've been talking to the police, and I was like, hey, I'll try to keep my guys. They're not my guys, but I'll try to keep people from
clashing.
Yeah, and they're like, all right. They're here to make sure that we protest peacefully and we can everything's peaceful. And we've been coordinating with them.
All right, thanks for filling me in. Appreciate it. Get my ice cream. It's all melted now. So there you have it. I'll look at some of the questions, see if you guys have any questions. I mean, that was funny. He said, we don't want to be the Portland of California or the Berkeley of San Diego, which is all right, a little bit of a tangled metaphor, but I understand exactly what he's saying actually. But yeah, that dude with the Phillies hat is like, and the baggy pants and the red bandana. It's really interesting when you get like the hood vibe for Trump. I saw that a lot in Sacramento as well, like the hood team for Trump who come in kind of gangbanger. I don't know what's the politically correct word for a gangbanger, but in Sacramento you'd see that that dude was definitely bringing that vibe. That's it. I'm just telling it like it is. All right, let me see if there's any questions. Any questions? Call. What's this? What's going on? You know what? There's so much glare. It's hard to read the questions. Let's see if I can see a little better. All right. With a cure, they would ask what took him so long. Oh, that guy, the guy that was talking. We were talking about COVID earlier. How many people are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd say about 15 people. That's it. It would be demonized no matter what Trump did. I was able to withstand the constant hate for years. Well, let me know if you guys have any like other questions about here. Sorry, it's hard for me to actually see the screen because it's so sunny. So when I flip it over to me, it's like really hard to read the comments. So maybe I'll get to them at the end. But yeah, as I said, there's like a dozen and a half people here. It looks like that guy left. It was trouble. The straight up instigator with the Phillies beanie on. He was just talking to anybody. Like these people walking by, he would have just been like, blah, 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 whatever. So. It's interesting though, me and the other guy that was talking, the South Asian guy, we were having an interesting dialogue. I mean, you could tell he was very conspiracy minded when it came to masks and that this was all, I think some use the term social engineering and that, you don't have to wear a mask out here in San Diego. I don't know if it's like that on the boardwalk in Los Angeles. I haven't actually, I don't, when I go surfing, I don't wear a mask. I've seen that. I've seen some dudes coming back from surfing with like a mask on and I'm like, how do they do that? But again, that information from that presser, I'll have to look up the date, but the Department of Homeland Security revealed all this data about outdoor transmission not being a problem and being highly unlikely, but it was eclipsed. The one thing the guy and I agreed on was, well, it's the media's responsibility. They should have been able to not resist the trending web bait of Donald Trump saying something about light and ejecting light. They hold equal responsibility because there was very important information at that exact press conference. And I don't know why it was the Department of Homeland Security, but they are the ones that made the announcement about outdoor transmission. And that information just didn't even get out to the public. And so now you have people still fighting over whether you're supposed to wear a mask outdoors. I mean, you can. There's nothing wrong with it. But the data, again, does not support from what we know. So I have my mask with me, like I'm ready to put it on. If when I was standing really close to that guy, I put it on. I told him out of respect or whatever. I am disheveled. I was actually gonna surf here, but the waves are not good, so that's why I look like I just got out of bed because I kind of did covering up the thing. Let me see if I can find any questions. Beach is nice. Yes, it is. Better, better duty than Sacramento. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for the compliments. Um, I will be live streaming this week, you guys. I have a real special. I'm gonna live. Oh, is that the guy? That's the same dude. That's the trouble guy. I'll be live streaming you guys on Monday. It might be short. What I'm going to do is I'm going to announce the next podcast publication. I had a really interesting interview with a woman named Kim Brown, who hosts a show called Burn It Down with Kim Brown. So I'm very not about burning anything down. So it was the beginning of a dialogue because she was willing to have the talk with me, and we were willing to really talk about the whole time. We didn't even get into Antifa because we were trying to come up with solutions that we could agree on, as far as social action and what we need to do as a country, and how we need to dialogue and talk to each other. And I think it was a really good hour talk that I had. So I'll be publishing that podcast on Monday. And around noon, I will go live for a very short, because it's a holiday. I didn't get a guest myself, but I booked for Monday. Then Wednesday, it's going to be a very special edition of Unblocked Live. This Wednesday, we're going to go at 6 p.m. And the reason for that, what's going on? Are people? All right, wait. Let's check out what's going on over here. Ugh.
She's so upset. Oh my goodness.
Get right up, sign the petition, remove Newsom, the face of repression in California.
You got it? You're not in China. She was going on.
Yeah, she was crazy.
He's talking about I love Trump, but she was reelected and she's upset.
So she said that the woman there with a megaphone said she loved Trump and she wished he was reelected, and then this group got in the face.
Yes, the fuck it does. Thank you. I just want everyone to have a great life. I want everyone to live their best life. I'm living my best life. Everyone has the right to live their best life freely. Freely.
Oh, my ice cream has turned to soup. So I was talking before. You guys, this is pretty basic. I mean, I guess 3 weeks ago, from what they said, that group called SD Against the Fash or whatever, they showed up and there were melees, there were brawls, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do that because, as I said, there's just as many cops as demonstrators. It's really interesting how this plays out demographic-wise. In Beverly Hills, I don't think they have that many problems. There are Trump rallies there, and I don't think that many agitators come out. But here, they were trying to come out, but with so many police, they didn't. on Wednesday, it's going to be a special, and keep an eye out on my Twitter. I'll announce if it's going to be Wednesday or if it'll be moved to another day. But the regular Wednesday live is going to be changed to 6 p.m. And the reason for that is the guest is going to be coming to us from China. He's my buddy, my old buddy from stand-up comedy. His name's Simeon Goodson. He's from East New York, Brooklyn. And his wife got a job first teaching in the UAE. So he was in like Abu Dhabi for a while. Then they moved to China. So he was in China when when COVID broke out. And he's doing stand-up comedy. He's a comedian who I know from my stand-up comedy days. He's been doing stand-up in China. So we're going to get I'll play some of his stand-up clips on Wednesday. It's going to be a really fun show. And at the same time, we'll talk COVID. We'll talk about he's from East New York. So how he perceives how, everything that's gone down in the U.S. this last year, watching abroad from China. We haven't talked in a while. Last time I saw him, we were in Abu Dhabi. I went and saw him, helped shoot his comedy special. I was behind one of the cameras in Abu Dhabi like 3 or 4 years ago. And so we got a lot to catch you up on. It's going to be a real fun live cast. He's hilarious. His name's Simeon Goodson. And if you want to check out some of the clips, Official Comedy, which was that comedy outfit that I used to work for, we were trying to figure out how to get trending content. Go to Official Comedy's YouTube or just Google Official Comedy go to YouTube, put in Official Comedy, and then put in Simeon. Simeon is spelled Simeon. His name is Simeon Goodson. And Goodson is in good son. And if you just type in Official Comedy, Simeon Goodson, or probably just Official Comedy Goodson, he'll come up, and he's freaking hysterical, dude. Some of the clips that I have up of him from when I was producing for Official Comedy are hilarious. We're gonna play some of those clips. He's gonna talk what life is like raising his family in China right now, from Brooklyn to Abu Dhabi to China. So that's gonna be Wednesday at 6 p.m. unless it needs to be moved per his schedule. He's a father of 3, so you know how that goes. But as of right now, we're planning for Wednesday, 6 p.m. So the 12 noon live, Unblocked Live will not happen at 12 noon on Wednesday, but it will happen briefly on Monday. If you guys are just sitting around on the holiday, President's Day, we could talk about presidents, I guess. I don't know. It'll be a whole show dedicated to your favorite president. Tell me who your favorite president is in the comments section. Guys, this is pretty mellow. As you can see, there's the police congregating. Cloud cover's coming in a little bit. Oh, is this guy this guy has a sign, and she has ears, so it looks like they may not be demographically with the Patriot group, and he's hiding his sign, so be interesting to see if they're counter protesters. Look, I respect protesters and counter protesters. The problem is nobody seems to be able to just have a conversation or anything. It's just people yelling at each other for the most part. This reminds me of the scene in Tahunga, Los Angeles. During the summer, I would go to this one protest in what's called the Valley, the San Fernando Valley, just north of LA. And it was like this. There'd be a Trump protest, and then a big group of counter-protesters would come out. And that was LA. Let's see what his sign says over here. Oh, it looks like maybe it's an anti-vax, and I don't know. It's not showing what that sign says. But it looked like it had a shot. It says, "Falsehood is the real pandemic." Okay, so this guy, I thought he might be a counter-protester, but he's actually with. This is what's so hard is that you can't tell by just looking at people. I thought, oh, she has like a beanie with ears on it. He's almost all in black. He's wearing red, black, which is considered the Antifa colors, and yet his sign is about God and against vaccination. So you just never know who the hell anybody is, because just like the guy with the Philadelphia beanie, you couldn't tell that he was what his deal was. Though it sounds like he was saying racist shit to people, even though he's a person of color. I don't know. It's just like, what the fuck? What the hell's going on with people?
It is random, yeah.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, you guys, I'll probably end this broadcast. But as I said, check in Monday. I will be live at noon. I'll announce it on Twitter to confirm if it's regular 12 noon, in which I'll also launch the last audio podcast with Kim Brown. She's out of the DC, Baltimore area. And I'll also, as I said on Wednesday, I'll announce the time. We're aiming for 6 p.m. later in the week, talking with comedian Simeon Goodson, who will be live with us from China. So that's going to be exciting. And you won't want to miss that. It looks like the group is not going to make it out. Oh, you know what? I have another device here. I'll be able to show you what their tweet was. I posted it earlier. Let's see. I don't know if you'll be able to read it. It's hard to photograph another phone. But you know what? Can't find it. I saw a tweet from the USA Today reporter who's from down here. There's a little journalism gossip. This guy's interesting. He and I were supposed to talk a couple weeks ago. He's a USA reporter who is solidly Antifa aligned. So he did the latest article about the Proud Boys, in which he talks about the Proud Boys splintering. And he interviews Daryl Lamont Jenkins, who I interviewed in the last podcast series, Uncovered Anarchist, which I kind of let go because I was getting a lot of like attacks from anarchists and stuff, like, you know, just verbal cancellation type attacks. And so I made it into a 10 episode limited series, Uncovered Anarchist. If you Google my name, it still comes up, I think, on the second page, in which I interviewed a couple of anarchists and Antifa people. The Antifa guy, Daryl Lamont Jenkins, won't talk to me again because when the New York Times article came out at the end of September, everybody realized that he'd been talking to me, and he got some flack, and he kind of basically said he couldn't talk to me again. I had been trying to organize peace conversations, like the New Year's Eve conversation that we had. Well, here's an update on that. Here's a really interesting update about New Year's Eve when we had that conversation between Jakari Kelly, Black Lives Matter Northern Utah, and also this guy named Thad. And he was very sort of ominous about and worried about things. He's pretty moderate for being in the Proud Boys, and he's no longer in the Proud Boys. They kicked him out. They kicked him out for talking to us and having that conversation on New Year's Eve about points of agreement. But not only that, I think the thing that if you go to the 58-minute mark in the New Year's Eve broadcast, what you will hear, which is very, very interesting, is that he says that he's worried because a lot of people are pissed. They have they're able-bodied men, he said, who have military background, that are talking of doing stuff, and so bless him for coming out and wanting to de-escalate the situation, but it sounds like he had premonitions that a week before the Capitol that tensions were high and people were getting militant. Uh, that that sort of harbinger, that warning, might have been enough for him to get kicked out of the Proud Boys. He really didn't tell me why he got kicked out of the Proud Boys, but the indication was that conversation led to his expulsion. So he's now just trying to do family. He said asked him if he want to come on the podcast eventually, but he just wants to stay out of the fray, live a peaceful life, so to speak. But it will be interesting to follow up with him one day. That USA Today piece that I mentioned, if you just Google USA Today and Proud Boys, they talk about the fracturing of the Proud Boys. And I tweeted last night, are we safer when groups like the Proud Boys are deplatformed and everybody it's funny, these are rollerbladers trying to get up. A little comic relief. Ladies and gentlemen, rollerbladers trying to get up. This special edition of Unblocked Live is brought to you by rollerbladers trying to get up. As I was saying, if you look at that article, USA Today, they talk about the splintering of the group. And Daryl Lamont Jenkins, who is Antifa East Coast, based out of New Jersey, actually, he was the protagonist of alt-right Age of Rage in Charlottesville when he was taking on Richard Spencer and that crew. So it's really interesting because I always said to him, you're the good guy of that film. Why is Antifa attacking just normal people now? That was always my question since last May. And, my sense is they're loosely knit. The Washington, D.C. group didn't even know who he was. I dropped his name. I was like, hey, I'm looking for him. This was on December the 12th. They didn't even know. He's the most well-known sort of older older meaning, my age in his 40s. And this generation, Zoomer generation that was in Black Lives Matter, Plaza Washington, they didn't even know who the hell he was. So that's how loose this movement is nobody really knows who each other are until something terrible has happened. But Daryl Lamont Jenkins in the USA Today article says that the critical mass is the same. His assessment, in other words, insane. The critical mass is the same, is you'll always have the same amount of, for lack of a better term, alt-righters. Let's call it hard right that are activated. He said the critical mass is the same. Well, if the critical mass is the same, don't you want them where you can see them? Are you better off by deplatforming them, getting rid of Parler, sending them all to encrypted chat rooms in the corners of the dark web? Are we really safer, or isn't it better to see them publicly and not send them through expulsion from society? I just don't know that makes us safer. That's always been my question. So this USA Today author is actually from down here, and he's super Antifa aligned. At one point, he was in D.C. during the Capitol, but he didn't even go towards it. He stayed on the outside of the lawn. I've been trying to talk to him. He was supposed to talk to me, but after Robert Evans kind of lambasted me and said that I was a liar, and tried to sick people after me, the guy got scared to talk to me because I'm critical of Antifa. I'm critical of everybody who's been violent this year. Anybody who's a cherry picker is not a real journalist, in my opinion. Anybody who prints something with Daryl Lamont Jenkins but doesn't say that he's Antifa and passes it off in the pages of USA Today isn't really telling the full honest story. And that's my challenge to him. Come on the podcast. Tell me how you are telling the full honest story. I think I need to, you know what? Don't tell anybody I said that. I think what I need to do is get these journalists, because these journalists who are part of the mainstream media, they won't talk to you if you think you're going to be critical, because they don't want anything that's controversial. So they just toe this very orthodox line. So I think the tactic would have to be, hey, come talk about your article about the Proud Boys. But these people don't want to do that. You know, a lot of journalists, they're playing it safe because they have families. They don't want to put themselves in a limelight of anything that's controversial. They don't want to get canceled. When Farrah Stockman printed the article about me in the New York Times on September 30th, you had throngs of Twitter activists in the same vein of the Gina Carano stuff, saying that the author of the piece should be fired for talking to me, that she should be fired. That's just been the knee-jerk reaction, is fire anybody. And it's getting tiresome, I think. Gimbal, I don't have a gimbal. I should get one. I have like a little tripod at home. I should get a gimbal. Peaceful populace in the middle isn't being heard. Yeah, I think we in the middle should be heard from. Absolutely. Guys, I'm going to close this out soon. I do need a gimbal or something so I can just flip it like that. That'll be my next investment. So you don't see my fingers over the lens. Oh, there's that guy. He's back. He's back. Philadelphia beanie. He's back. She said, Biden. So that guy's fist bumping with the old people. The guy, see, again, this is why they're so bad at really weeding out the crazies, honestly. Because that dude, the guy in the Philadelphia beanie, he was like, he's a person of color and he was yelling out racial slurs. And maybe they're discussing that right now because the black woman who's on the microphone is having some words with him. Looks like he's trying to get a high five. He got it. So, again, that's where they become bad at sort of vetting who's with them, because that guy was trouble. The cops are following them. Make sure that the guy doesn't get in any trouble. All right, y'all. I think I'm going to sign off. I'll see you on Monday at noon. Or be sure to check the comedy special Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Simeon Goodson from China, stand-up comedian and world traveler extraordinaire. I'll catch you guys later from Pacific Beach in San Diego. I'm Jeremy Lee Quinn. There's the people with the furry ears again. For the rollerbladers, the protesters, and the people with furry ear hats. We're signing off from Pacific Beach, San Diego. Have a great weekend, everybody. Wipe out. She'll be all right. She's tough. Pick yourself up. Oh, well, she went again. Pick yourself up. Brush yourself off. Start all over again. Doggy. All right, we'll try that again. For the wiener dog, for the pink bicycles, the protesters, and the rollerbladers, I'm Jeremy Lee Quinn from Pacific Beach, California. Whoop. Peace.